Today, we can say that Russia's energy blackmail has failed. EU looks set to end the winter heating season with its gas storage facilities more than half full, despite a huge drop in Russian pipeline gas supplies, says EU Energy Commissioner Kadri Simson.
Here's a summary of the article.
In November, the EC had urged EU countries to ensure gas storage was at least 45% full on average on 1 February to safeguard the bloc's energy security given the drop in Russian supplies. Simpson said EU storage facilities were currently more than 62% full. In the 12 months since Russia invaded Ukraine last February, Russian pipeline gas supplies to the EU dropped from 155 BCM per year to 62 BCM per year, and it was no longer the EU's biggest single gas supplier, she said. Alternative sources LNG imports to the EU rose from 80 BCM in 2021 to 135 BCM in 2022, and the US and Norway were now the EU's biggest gas suppliers. The EU had also cut its gas demand by 38 BCM, or 19% between August and January. The EU needed to continue working on diversifying supplies, adding more renewables, cutting energy demand and filling gas storage facilities. The EU agreed emergency legislation last year setting mandatory gas storage level targets to ensure facilities were refilled over the summer and so mitigate the impact of any potential full cut in Russian pipeline gas supplies.
This post received a score of 6,400, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Next winter France should have its 56 nuclear reactors running as opposed to like 38 this winter because of scheduled maintenance.
That would be great. Europe also needs to increase incentives for solar systems, heat pumps, and upgrading insulation. The US does too for that matter. Our house leaked a lot of air enough that you could feel it coming in around the frame of some of the windows. We were doing some renovations anyway, so we had them seal around all the doors and windows and went with spray foam insulation. Our heating bill this year is half of what it was last year and it's been a colder winter for us.
We have large windows in our living room that were at least 60 years old. Like the old sliding ones on tracks. We installed Energy Star rated windows, and the difference in heat loss and room temp is astronomical.
Yeah, it's absurd. We had a giant single-pane plate glass window at our family's summer cottage and the heat loss in the winter was absurd. We replaced it with just a double, not triple, pane window and the difference has been crazy.
What's the cost if you don't mind my asking? We have a huge single-paned window with a cracked corner we'd like to replace, but we're afraid it'll be expensive AF.
That's going to depend a lot on where you live, but we had a 6 feet by 4 feet double pane window replaced at my house in Canada and it was like $300 CAD. Don't cheap out on that though. Cheap ones use shitty seals that wear out in record time and you're effectively back to a single pane window.
$300 just for the window and you installed it yourself.
Window was $300. Installation was $130 I think. Forgot to mention that.
Let's spend the spring, summer and fall building more green infrastructure so we can continue to tell Putin to fuck himself. It would be great to not have to ever be beholden to threats about energy again.
Can't say if all EU citizen did it, but I heated my flat for only 4 days total this winter, just to render this fucking gremlin completely obsolete. Wearing a sweater and thick socks inside is the least amount one can do, so no bragging here.
We had to heat ours for most days, at least in the room we have our pet rabbits in, but it still involved keeping our radiators on the lowest setting and wearing a sweater inside. Wasn't a problem at all.
Kudos to you for trying. Of course, not everyone can do this, and the temperatures vary a lot. But doing something is infinitely better than doing nothing at all.
Remember their ads a few months back about how Europe will freeze over? Or the nonsense Russian talking points about how energy prices will be so high that it will bankrupt Europe. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.